Strength training is hard. You need to put your body through incredible fatigue constantly just to see the slightest bit of progress. But what happens when all that hard work amounts to absolutely nothing? You plateau and question every decision you've made in life that has led you to this point. I'm gonna tell you about the worst ways that you can train and things that you can do to make sure that you actually board that gain train, and we're gonna start right now. Too many exercises. You heard me right. The first mistake that you're likely doing is putting too many freaking exercises in your workouts. Oftentimes, when I see training programs, it's like, why is there 10 to 12 different movements in a workout? What ends up happening is you don't have enough volume for specific movements that matter. If we don't have enough volume around exercises that increase coordination, if we don't have enough volume around movements that have massive amounts of mechanical tension, then we aren't able to make those necessary adaptations. We're gonna lack those co-contractions that we might get from doing a technical coordination movement. We might lack that big time strength that we get from doing 5 to 7 sets of a big time back squat. So if we can decrease the amount of exercises that we're selecting and focus around 4 to 6 movements in a specific program, that's where we're gonna start to make those greater gains, because now we can do more sets and ultimately lead to better performance. But what else can be killing your gains? A big part of the body learning how to co-contract and recruit high threshold motor units is that we need to use compound movements. That leads to using heavier weight on exercises like the back squat and the bench press. And for lifters who want to use more complex movements that can increase your neural coordination, we can use technical coordination movements like the clean, like the behind the neck jerk, or maybe even like the power snatch. Boom, boom. With compound movements, it's important to stay consistent, and that's the one thing that we do inside of our strength training app, Peak Strength. We set it up so that you can do something like a clean and a back squat on that leg power day, and then you'll get into day 2, and on day 2, we might be focusing on something like the bench press. So if we're building out a program, we have to recognize that if we use big compound movements on a regular basis, we're going to lead to monster gains neurologically, which in turn will lead to more muscular gains as well. And this consistency around compound movements is what leads our body to learn how to have better co-contractions, or how to actually have co-contractions, and how to optimize their high threshold motor unit recruitment. But you know what else is getting in your way of making those gains? It's performing too high of reps all of the freaking time. High volume reps are a good thing. They're a great thing. They need to be used. However, we shouldn't be using them all of the time. If we're using reps like 2 to 6 reps, we're gonna increase our overall strength, and we're gonna learn how to deal with that big time load. You can then go heavier and in turn recruit those high threshold motor units. Not every single set that you execute needs to be a display of that sustained power endurance. Constantly doing 3 sets of 10 on back squat is one of the fastest ways to keep yourself from getting strong. Yes, I said it. The 3x10 zealots are gonna comment down below. Now, one thing is that when we do 3 sets of 10, or when we're doing even reps of 10, initially, we'll see some big time gains, okay? We'll see that actually increase strength, especially with those newbies. Those newbies will improve their overall coordination, but over a long period of time, it is not the best way to increase your strength. 5x3 tends to be a great rep scheme that you can use to then lead to big time strength. One thing you can do is, let's say you start at 80% of your best and you just slowly build up to that top end triple. And what ends up happening is oftentimes kids in high school, kids at the college level, when they stop doing 3 sets of 10 and they start doing triples and sets of 5, all of a sudden they really enjoy back squatting a bit more because they're starting to get stronger and they're starting to feel those gains. And then that global recruitment that they get from that bigger, heavier back squat also carries over to other exercises. But what else can be holding you down in that fight against gravity to make those big time gains? You ever see the movies Pulp Fiction or Memento? The stories are not told in chronological order. It's a neat storytelling trick and it works really well for those films. But bad exercise order can absolutely slaughter your ability to make those gains. You don't want to start your day off with bicep curls. I know what you're thinking, but curls for the girls. Followed by push-ups, supersetted with dips, then going into bench press, then the incline bench, and then all of a sudden concluding with the PA press. Here's the actual order of training that's gonna be optimizing your gains. You need to start off with some type of technical coordination movement. Think about a power clean, a hang snatch, a push press, something that's gonna light up your nervous system. Then you can lead into that absolute strength exercise. That's where we're gonna make those gains with mechanical tension. We're gonna lead to some serious strength gains. Then we can finish off with some hypertrophy movements. Hypertrophy and accessory movements, that's where we're gonna be able to increase that structural integrity and target any potential weaknesses. But how else can poor ordering of exercises negatively impact your gains? In addition to poor exercise order or poor exercise selection, the other aspect is just doing really complex movements while you're under a massive amount of fatigue. And this could resemble doing something like a power clean or a full clean for like 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps, which is absolutely horrible. And all it is a recipe that will lead to technical breakdown. The only time I would recommend even doing something along these lines is if you're training specifically for the sport of CrossFit. Otherwise, avoid this at all costs. You're gonna have that technical breakdown. It could, in theory, lead to some type of injury, and in turn, you're just gonna have a pathetically weak power clean or full clean. The reps are simply too high, and you're not going to develop the strength that's actually needed. But what can it be? Never using the right accessories, or even worse, using the accessories as the main lift. Lat pull downs can help improve your weighted pull-ups and give you a nice pop. Dips help improve your bench press, especially if you're on an unstable surface, like our dip rack right now. God damn it. Squats help. They help improve your clean. But in no world should biceps be the actual main lift of your workout. Except for maybe on Fridays when you need to get a really good pump and go out on the town and feel good about yourself so that your biceps fill out your Abercrombie & Fitch youth medium pop collar t-shirt, and you can try to impress people, or at least you think that's a way to impress them. And so maybe biceps would be the first thing that you do for your workout. But we talked all about bad programming. We talked about exercise order and all the other different aspects that go into a bad workout. But what can you do? And one of the easiest things that you can do is head over to peakstrength.app and download our strength training app. Sure, we're gonna have bicep curls in Peak Strength. Of course we will, I wrote it. But it's gonna be in there to improve that structural integrity around those elbows and improve that blood flow so that you get a little bit stronger specific to your sport. We've got over 700 different exercises. Just head over to peakstrength.app, the Google Play Store or the Apple iOS Store, because remember, freaks, if you wanna become a champion, you've always gotta cultivate your power. Peace.